Hello, and welcome to episode 121 of the Stress Knits podcast. I am Stacy, also known as Stress Knits Yarn on Instagram and the Diary Behind Stress Knits Yarn. I'm coming to you from Metro Detroit, Michigan, where I live with my husband Doug, our daughter Eliza, and our pug Esther. I'm a little flustered because I just started recording this a few minutes ago, and all of a sudden I hear a knock on Eliza's door, and she got out of her sleep sack and climbed out of her crib, which is a new thing since yesterday. So I put a few more toys in her crib to maybe buy me some time so I can get some stuff done, because she's also vetoing nap time. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to kind of rush through this, and I don't have much to talk about, so I think we can get it done. So, what's going on? Besides Eliza needing to transition to a bed. Not a whole lot. I have done a lot of knitting this week, but it's mostly on one project, which if you're following me on Instagram, which is at Stress Knits Yarn, everything is linked down below. I'm obsessed, and I definitely have a color palette going on right now. But first, I finished something. So I'm not wearing it for two reasons. One, I'm so paranoid that she's climbing out of her crib. She's a good climber. It's fine, but it's a little stressful. What was I talking about? My finished object. So I'm not wearing it, one, because it's still pretty warm out. It's like high 70s right now. I'm wearing this because it's cozy and I'm in air conditioning. Actually, I'm probably going to open the windows after this. But that, and also it came out a little smaller than I wanted, and I'm working on it. But I'm really self-conscious of she threw one of her toys out. Anyway, I'm really self-conscious of my bust. I've always had a large bust. It's just one of those things, and that's why I like looser fitting clothes, because I don't know, I'm just really self-conscious about it. So this is a little bit tight. I still haven't blocked it, so we'll see. But this is my Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Made Designs. Oh, I love it so much. I used my hand-dyed yarn in the Accidental Gemini colorway, which was Eliza's first birthday fundraiser colorway. And it's also a regular in the shop because I love it that much. I'm so happy with it. So one sleeve, two sleeves. I only made a few modifications to this pattern. I did a fold over neckband, and I knit the body longer because that's what I prefer, only by like 1.5 inches. And then I knit the sleeves straight and decreased around the cuff. So it's kind of a balloony sleeve without it being an obnoxious balloon sleeve. And I love it. It does fit really well, except for in the bust area, like I mentioned. So we'll see how it goes. If not, it's just a beautiful sample, and maybe Eliza will wear it when she's older. If I never fit into this, it's not a big deal. But we'll see. So, yeah, I'm really happy with it. I used almost the full 3 skeins of yarn. So what I have left over... So I used my singles base, and this is what I have left. It's only a couple of grams. And then this is my halo base, which is my mohair silk, and this is what I have left. So this is all of the yarn I have left, and I am super happy I squeaked out the sweater with the 3 skeins of each. And I'm just really happy with how it came out. It is about it's between the medium and a large. I want to say it's probably about a 40-inch bust, which is about 2 to 3 inches of negative ease on my bust. But again, it fits really well everywhere else. And I just really don't like negative ease on my bust. So we will see, but I really love how this turned out. Accidental Gemini, one of my favorite colorways of all time I've ever dyed. It's this beautiful, almost rose goldy pink with speckles of orange. Yeah, so that is my finished object. I'm so glad to finally have this off the needles. I cast this on my birthday, February 20th, and I cast it off late last week. So yeah. I'm gonna put it down over here. And then in the same vein, I'm in this mood to finish a bunch of stuff. I did cast something on, but I'm in the mood to finish some projects. And so the other sweater on my needles that I'm actively working on is my pink velvet sweater. It's the back, here's the front. And this is going to get some more love probably today or tomorrow, and I'll explain that in a second. But yeah, I love this. I'm knitting the 42 inch, so it's going to be 0 inches of ease either way. Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's so beautiful. I am using Stress Knit Singles again, but in the Dahlia colorway. It's the main color. I am she's trying to go down. Okay. I'm gonna close the door though because it's a little loud. But at least she has not escaped. She's like putting her hands in her head and just kind of bearing herself down. So hopefully she goes to sleep because she really needs a nap. She's a cranky babe today. Anyway, I am alternating skeins. I have two more. So that should be plenty of yarn. And then did I say what this was? This is Dahlia on my singles base. It's very true to color. It's almost this color, actually. It's very close. And yeah, and then I'm using Palm Lines, which is a Barely There pink on my cloud base. Actually, it's in my leftovers. So much is happening today. There is a power pole that is going to fall down if there's another big storm. And it's kind of in between our side boulevard with us and our neighbor. And they're replacing it today. I'm assuming they brought stuff and there's a bunch of trucks. So I'm assuming that's what they're doing. So if there's any noise, that's what that is. But yes. So, Pink Velvet by Andrea Mowry. I love it. It's so beautiful. It's going to block out so well. I'm just knitting around and around. I'm going to add a little bit of length, but not much. I really see myself wearing this sweater this fall and winter, so I hope it works out. Yeah, so this will be getting a little bit more love now that this is really the only sweater on my needles at the moment. That is going to change soon, but I would really like to get this off before I cast anything else on. That yoke is just so stunning. I know, it feels like a sweater you would wear in a cabin in the mountains. And I've never been in a cabin in the mountains. But that's just what it reminds me of. I don't know. Anyway, that's the Pink Velvet. But my crowning jewel right now is my Dotted Rays Shawl by Stephen West. I'm getting really excited to talk about it because I'm obsessed. So I posted a picture on Instagram for my update last Monday, and it was kind of thrown together because the photos, we kind of call them like promo photos or Instagram photos because we take our product shots and then we take prettier pictures for my Instagram feed, and those ones they weren't turning out really well. because we're trying a new studio setup for the photos, so everything's really consistent, and eventually I can take all of the photos and do all of the editing. But they had this weird quality to them that I didn't love, and I was really frustrated and upset. So Doug calmed me down and he said, pick out yarn, because I'd already put it all away. He's like, pick out some yarn and we'll do some photos in natural light, and it's going to be beautiful and wonderful. It's going to look great. It's like, okay. So I just grabbed some stuff and I was trying to take not product shots, but photos of my new 50-gram skeins. So I grabbed 3 skeins of DK. Those colorways were Eloise, dried lavender, and Dahlia. That picture. And one of you amazing people commented and said that would be a gorgeous dotted raise shawl. I said, you know what? You're right. It absolutely would be. I'm going to cast one on right now. So that's what I did. I am using my favorite base. Yes. So as you can tell, I've already knit quite a bit. I could finish the shawl today if I wanted to knit the small size. So there are 2 sizes, the small and the large. But I really want to incorporate Dahlia, and I want this shawl to be huge. I have this vision of myself in the fall with like my skinny jeans or my leggings, a really cozy like gray shirt, my green jacket, and this shawl just wrapped around. I don't know why I have this vision, but I do. And it feels very me. I don't know. As the weather gets cooler, I feel more myself, and I'm already starting to feel my energy returning and feeling more motivated and all of that kind of stuff, because I genuinely cannot stand hot weather. So as we're kind of dipping into late August, when it's going to start getting cooler occasionally, I just have this vision of fall days that will eventually turn into snowy winter days, and I'm just going to be the happiest person on the planet. So, yeah, this shawl is a part of that vision, and I'm so excited to share it with you. And I got my 60-inch cord yesterday, and I'm so glad that I did, because this shawl is massive. So here it is. I will hold it the right way up. So here's what it is already. And like I said, I could finish this today and it would be a great size. The small size is really great, but I'm on the final wedge of the small size before it says to move on to finishing if you are making the small. And I just started this, this short row, this wedge. And so it's going to be a little bit bigger than this for the small size, but then I'm going to add Dahlia for the last 3 wedges now. So, okay, this is gorgeous, right? It's absolutely stunning. I did make a mistake when I started it, and some of the first wedges that or eyelets that are really close together didn't quite match up, and I was excuse me. I was about 7 wedges in, and so it's pretty far on this pink part, the Eloise part. And it bothered me so much, because I really have this vision of the shawl, and I decided to rip it out and start over. And I'm so glad I did, because it looks so beautiful. I am so proud of the shawl. And I haven't wanted to knit a shawl in like a year or 2. I've cast some on. I have a Marley shawl that I cast on that I'm probably going to rip out. And I have a Starflake on. I started it with the Mystery Knit Along last year. Yeah. Was it last fall? 2 falls ago? I don't remember. But I also have that, and I have no motivation to work on them. But there's something about this shawl. It feels very reminiscent of my What the Fade mojo. It is a comfort knit. It is so soothing because it's so much garter, and then it's broken up by the eyelet rows, which are really intuitive after you get a few under your belt. The wedges, because they're short rows, also get really intuitive once you figure out the pattern. I don't know, it's bringing me so much joy, and I really need another shawl to put in rotation with my What the Fade, which is by Andrea Mowry, and because I wear it all the time, and I knit that in 2017. So it's been 3 years of consistent use almost every single day in the fall and the winter, because it's Michigan and it gets cold and we have a predicted horrible winter, which I mean is fine. We're probably not going to be able to go anywhere anyway, which is good because there's still a pandemic. And yeah, so I'm excited. I just want to wrap myself in this and take Esther and Eliza for walks. That's all I want. But I'm starting to panic because I'm reading through the instructions and it says the second to last wedge takes like 200 yards and the last wedge takes 230, or it's like 230 and 250. So that's obviously more than a skein of yarn. Now, I will say, even though they're labeled as 100 grams, both of these were over 100. They were all, I wrote it down. They were 109.9, 109.2 grams, respectively. So, I know there's probably 109 in here-ish. But I want this shawl to be perfect. I don't want to play yarn chicken. I don't want to have to cut it short a wedge, even though it's going to be a very sloggy wedge. I can already feel it. But I don't want to cut it short. So after this, I am going to dye myself 2 skeins of Dahlia on Favorite because I was really lucky to get quite a few bags of my Favorite base, so I'm not stressed about rationing it for some updates. So I can spare 2 skeins and dye up Dahlia for myself, and then I will use whatever I need of the second skein. I know I'm probably going to use the entire first skein. If I don't break into the second skein, it'll just go into the shop. But if I do break into it, I'm going to hold the yarn double and knit a hat for Eliza for fall and winter. It's perfect because I love Dahlia, and Dahlia it looks beautiful on her. It fits her skin tone, her vibes really, really well. I actually made her a mini magpie by Skenanigans, Ellie, and sorry. And it was in the Dahlia colorway. And even though it's kind of evolved since then, it's a little darker now. It fit her so well. So, because her and I have very similar skin tones. Yes, so that is my plan for that. And so because I'm on the last wedge with the purple, once I finish that, I'm going to move on to my pink velvet while my skeins of Dahlia dry, which they'll probably be dry by tomorrow. But I'm going to take a day off of this, work on my pink velvet to get maybe 3 inches on the body done, so that when I pick it up after I finish my dotted rays, because this might be done next week. Let's be perfectly honest. This might be done next week. I love it so much. Part of me is even thinking about doing a knit along for this and doing a second one, the small size in DK, because this pattern is so adaptable. I am going to be having a whip down episode on this shawl for my patrons. So if you're a patron, look out for that in the next week or 2, and then it'll eventually go up on the YouTube channel. That's all I've been working on. I am obsessed and I'm so excited. But Let's see, what else is there to talk about? I did do a Patreon video about upcoming projects that I've planned. So if you're interested, head over there and check it out if you would like. And let me take a sip of coffee while I think. So, yes, I have this vision of a fall wardrobe, and everything is really in this color family. I don't know why. I'm not a purple person. Even though my childhood bedroom was like a bright lavender, I'm really not a purple person. I'm really picky about purples. But there's something about dried lavender. It's just this soft, muted color. I love it. I really love it. Yeah. And Eloise is just, it's my new ride or die colorway. I will put it in everything. My sweater in it that I can't show you yet is right here. I'm trying not to wear it too. Well, it's been too hot, but I want it to be pristine for when I take pictures. I want it to get a little bit cooler. Since I can't share it until November, I might as well wait until like end of September, October to take pictures in it when it's chilly and I can be comfortable outside. So yeah, that's going on. I have a sweater for Eliza I want to cast on. We have some babies coming into our lives, or the lives of people we love soon. Yeah, so I kind of want to knit them hats. I already got them presents, but like, I don't know. There's just this need, like this pressure-y need to knit them hats. So I may or may not do that. Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. I'm really excited to get this done. And I'm also excited to get my hands on more DK and worsted bear yarn because there are sweaters I would like to dye yarn for. I think it's time to cast on my Yorkville by Mina Phillip, the knitting expat. I love it, and I haven't been able to get it out of my brain. I still think I'm going to do it in the dusk colorway, but I've also thought, no, I think I'm going to do that. I was like, I've also thought about Eloise, but I already have a sweater Eloise. Yeah, so I think I'm going to do that. And that's really it. So I'm just waiting for my yarn supplier to get their yarn in. It's frustrating, but it's also like, I totally get it. This time is crazy. And they get their yarn from Peru, and Peru was under really, really strict lockdown. So there was 10 weeks without yarn production. So all of us are kind of stressed out and ordering yarn really fast once that email comes in, because most of us get it from the same place. And yeah, it's a little frustrating. I've definitely had stuff in my cart, went to check out and it wasn't there anymore, which is fine, but I got really, really lucky this past time and got some favorite and some minis. So that will be coming. I think it gets here tomorrow, and I think I'm gonna do a dye day tomorrow. It's tomorrow, Wednesday. So Wednesday and Thursday, and maybe Friday for the next update, because my shelves are so bare. Yeah, but there's still plenty of yarn in the shop. I don't know why I waited so long to say this, but thank you to everybody who shopped the update. It was my most successful update to date, and I couldn't stop smiling and crying of just pure joy and, I don't know, just gratitude to all of you for supporting our small business and our family, because it's a one-person show with some help from my husband, and it's a lot of work. So to have people love what I'm creating and what I put my heart and soul into, it really means the world. Yeah. So I'm hoping for an update on the 31st of August, because that's a Monday. I really like Monday updates. I don't know why. I really, really like them. Yeah, so that's probably coming down, and that will be mostly favorite full skeins, mini sets, DK and worsted halves, and maybe DK and worsted because the mill's supposed to get some in this week. So we'll see if I get it by that time. I don't know. It might happen, but I also might not be fast enough and not grab any. So it just really depends. Please be patient with all of us yarn dyers. It's really out of our control. So there's that. Also, the 50-gram favorite skeins, which were here. I did not almost fall out of my chair. It's fine. It's fine. But these wasn't even worth it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, favorite half skeins won't be restocked until September, October, which is when they will be getting the shipment for those in. So unfortunately, it's not available, but I was also sitting on the skeins that I put in the shop since January. So that's why I had them, because otherwise I would have not been able to do that. So anyways, I think I'm going to cut it here. I'm going to try to eat some lunch if Eliza is down. She's still in her crib, so that's good. But I will talk to you next week, hopefully with the finished dotted rays. Have you knit this? Have you? I don't know if anybody else does this, but when I work on a project that I'm really, really excited about, I want to watch other people be really excited about it. So I know of two podcasters in particular that I love and I'm constantly inspired by, who I am very lucky to call friends. Jacqueline of Brooklyn Knit Folk and Chelsea of Legacy Fiber Arts / Chelsea Makes on Patreon. They've both made these in the past. So I've been watching all of their old episodes where they talk about this shawl because I am just so in love with it that I want to hear other people talk about it. Does anybody else do that? Anyway, dotted rays will probably be done by next week. Oh, I'm so excited. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I will see you next time.